Hi, I hope you're having a great day. My name is Mark. Along with my wife Sherry, my grandson John, and my granddaughter Abby, we are Family Kitchen and Crafts. We like to help people out with their diet, exercise, just all together good health. Let me give you a little bit of background here. This is why for years I've been kind of in and out of this diet thing. I've tried the keto diet, I've tried all kinds of stuff, and you know, any diet will work if you treat it right and you follow it. So back in February of this year, I had a heart attack. I was 66 years old. I'm 67 now, but in February I was 66 years old. And I'd noticed for a while that I really didn't have the energy I used to have. Even though I'm in my 60s, I used to just I'd be a go-getter. I work all the time, 10 to 12 hours a day, and I was just nonstop. And then I just started getting a little sluggish, and then I started getting a little bit dizzy every once in a while. And I went to the doctors, and he said, well, it's probably just vertigo or something. And, they kind of brushed it off as that and like that. Well, in February, we was doing a lawn job. I was cleaning up guys' yard. We was raking up the leaves and put them into a pile and taking them away. And I felt kind of bad all the whole day, but I really, I just thought I was just because I was tired like that. So we get all done with the job that day, and the guy pays us. So we go home, and I get home, and I'm feeling really sluggish, really bad. So I'm sitting in the chair here where I'm sitting right now, and all of a sudden I just start having these pains in my chest, and I start sweating. And I kind of put my head down like this because it was the pain was just it was crazy. It wasn't real pronounced, but it was a pain in my chest. I just it was like I was kind of like in a trance. I just couldn't keep my head up and like that. My granddaughter says to my wife, "And there's something wrong with Pappy." And so my wife looks at her and she jumps up and says, "Oh, Mark, are you okay?" I scared them. They was all really scared, and I said, "Oh," I said, "I don't. There's something wrong. I don't feel good." So she said, "Do you want to go to the emergency room?" I said, "Yeah." So she took me over to the emergency room. We didn't call an ambulance. She just run me right over there because it's just down the road here, a couple of miles. And they got me in there, and we were sitting at the information desk. And the lady says, "Yeah, can I help you?" I said, "Yeah, I think I'm having a heart attack." Man, they whipped me right in the back there, and they put these leads and stuff on me, and they give me some pills. I think it was nitroglycerin or something. And they wheeled me back into the back room. And the guys kept saying, "We got you, we got you, we got you. Don't worry, we got you." With the nitroglycerin, I was starting to feel a little bit better, but I wasn't 100%. And then this was Livingston Regional Hospital, and then they took me by ambulance down to Cookeville Hospital, and there they put me in a room, and then they took me to this operating table, and that's the last thing I remember. And I woke up in a hospital room, and they had put two stents in my heart. They said one artery was blocked 95%, the other one was 90. And the doctor said if you hadn't got to the hospital when you did, you would have had a massive heart attack and died. I'm thinking, wow, I came that close to death. It was just unreal. I didn't have any visions about dying or no big bright lights or anything like that. So evidently I didn't die. I must have just been really close to it. So when I got done at the hospital, after a couple of days, they sent me home. And then I signed up for this therapy for my heart. And they also had a nutritionist come in, and she explained, some of the stuff that I can eat and I can't eat. So, this leads us to the type of diet that we eat, especially in America. And we got these food companies, there's a lot of sugar and a lot of ultra processed foods in our diets here because, everything is hurry, hurry, quick, quick. I think it's kind of like designed by that because, back when I was a kid, my dad worked and my mom stayed home with the kids. And then when kids got a little bit older, then my mom went to work. But, we didn't have to struggle for food or anything like that. And there was always good food to eat. We always ate really good. We always ate good, healthy stuff. But now it seems like, the families, they both got to work and there's no time to cook or anything because they're so busy trying to make a living that you got to, stop at McDonald's or stop and get a pizza or, you got to stop here or there to get food, real quick food. And people just they don't sit down as a family anymore and eat. And, they just don't savor that family time because I think the food companies made the foods addictive, so we eat more and we gain weight. And then the doctors, they treat us and they give us these prescriptions, and the drug companies run out. So I from the sound of things, it's kind of like a big conspiracy thing that, the doctors and the food companies and the the manufacturing companies, they're all in on this together because, it's all about the money. I think it's all about the money, really. It just boils down to the almighty dollar. They put people's health over money. And that shouldn't be like that. We need to get back to, the basics, like cooking good, healthy food. Take, for instance, the people over in the Mediterranean area. They've got a diet they call the Mediterranean diet where they eat some meats and they eat, fish and chicken and, poultry, stuff like that. But they eat moderately and they don't eat a lot of sugared foods, a lot of candies or chocolates or anything. They eat healthy and they live the longest in the world. And, heart disease is very low over there. United States, heart disease is one of the number one killers there is. As far as, diseases like that, we got higher rates of cancer and like that. I think it's all from the foods we eat, and the toxic environments. A lot of these companies, they deal with these toxic chemicals and like that. I remember when I was younger, I worked as a mechanic, and the brake dust, they said don't breathe it because we had to wear masks because they said it was, if you breathe the air in, it had some asbestos or something in the brake shoes and linings. I don't think they have that anymore anyways, but we need to get back to the basics. A lot of people, they'll say, well, the first of the year, I'm going to start eating healthy and I'm going to exercise and like that. Don't wait till then. I mean, this is what, December 4th? Start right now. Start working your way into it. Do it slowly. That way, come the first of the year, when you say, okay, I'm going to do this, then, you'll be prepared, for preparation. People that fail to plan to fail. That's an old saying I heard years ago. So, start making the meals at home, prepare them for 2 or 3 days ahead of time. Make bigger portions. I'll leave you a link to my website, and you can sign up for our newsletter, and you'll get all kinds of information in there about, diets and exercises and like that. There's millions and millions of diets on the market, they got some of them, you take them shots and like that. I don't really believe that's healthy for you, really. I think if you eat a sensible diet and you do some moderate exercises and you watch your portions, you'll lose weight and you'll be a lot healthier. We need to get rid of this heart disease stuff. Because let me tell you, having a heart attack is no picnic. I've been there, done that. I got a t-shirt and video on it. So I know. And it's very, because you want to be around here for your family and your friends. You want to live a good, long, healthy life so you can play with your grandkids when you get older. You're not stuck with an oxygen mask on you all the time. You got to walk around with an oxygen tank. And, that's no way to live. That's not living. You want to live a good, healthy life. Start right here. Follow the link to our website. Sign up for our newsletter. We're here to help you 100% of the way. We're not going to charge you hundreds of dollars a month or thousands of dollars a month to coach you on eating healthy. We're going to have one big group here, and we're all going to help each other. They say use the buddy system because you're a lot better off when somebody is there with you, kind of coaching you along the way. Your health depends on it. Your family depends on it. So this is Mark from Family Kitchen and Crafts saying thanks for watching the video, and don't forget to check out our website. Sign up for our newsletter. We'll see you on the other side. Thanks for watching.